What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is ASAS Pixel Studio. Yeah, another tutorial for a beginner. So if you're a beginner and you want to go into photo retouching or image editing, this video is the right video for you, because I'm going to cover up all the technique you can use in editing image. It will get you started in your editing career or retouching career. All right, so I'm going to be explaining step-by-step process of how you could edit your images. So here we have this image, and I just want you to follow up. It applies, whatever technique I use applies to any other image. Is going to give you the same result. Okay, so now as a beginner, one thing you need to know is what is the first step you need to do when you want to retouch. Sometimes the image might be too exposed, sometimes it might be less exposed. So I try to fix the exposure, and while fixing the exposure, it also makes me fix the color profile. Okay, so I'm going to explain that in a minute. Now for me to do that, the image could be overexposed or less exposed, but in this case it is less exposed the way I want it. I don't want it overexposed. I just want to bring out the exposure a little bit so that it will be brighter and lively. Okay, so I'm going to use this tool. You can use the white balance tool for in the camera raw filter, but I like using the solid color layer. So grab the solid color, look at the solid color layer, just click on this one and you're going to get the solid color layer. And if you don't use this one, you can go ahead, go to filter and go to camera raw filter, and then it's going to, you can use the white balance there, but that's another method. So let me just quickly cover this. Now when you get the solid color, it's going to cover it up. Don't worry, any other color, just choose any color and then turn it off. Double click on it to open up the color picker, and then select the eyes. The eyes is supposed to be white, so pick the eyes. So I'm going to pick somewhere here, and then it's going to select this range. Remember, it's on B, brightness, S, saturation, H, U. So it's okay. Now once you hit okay, turn it on and change the blending mode to divide. Now it's very bright. Go ahead, go inside and take it all the way up to where you want it. So I guess that should be okay. So we have before and then after. So this does correct the exposure, the lightning, and however you just find a way to go around the image and correct some things that you would better than this that is looking a little bit dull and less exposed, and this is brings the photo alive a little bit. Now once you get this, which is the first step, the next step is to balance the color. Now if you notice, the neck is a little bit yellow. Here we have less saturated skin, here we have red, saturated red, and on this place we have yellow but not too saturated, but this will have saturated yellow compared to the hair where we have saturated yellow. All this color, when you edit, you are going to be good at picking them easily. When you see them, you just know. And this place doesn't look like blue, it looks more like ash color and the rest of. So now we want to balance the color. Which color do you want the skin tone to look like? First of all, we need to get rid of this one right here, the one at the neck. Okay, so now grab your hue and saturation to pick your hand tool on the hue and saturation, and then select that color range. It's going to give you a range right here, and you can see it's saying red. Now increase the hue. You're going to see different color. Now some places are green, some are blue, some are deep blue, while some are light green, some are light blue. Okay, so but now we want to target just this area. You can see that that area is different. Okay, so now make this 0 back. The range is selected already. Okay, increase it, sorry, and then move the slider. See where you have just that place selected. So something like this. I'm going to leave it like this. Okay, so let's say we select something like this, and now you're going to make this value 0, and let's see, we need to bring it backwards to make it look reddish like the cheek first of all. So we have the cheek before and after it's gone. Let me zoom in. You can see before yellow, and now after it's the same with this. You also have to desaturate it. Why? Because it needs to be the same with the down part of the cheek right here. So just desaturate it a little bit, and we have that. And you can increase the hue and mess around with it. So something like this should be fine. Okay, so I'm going to close it. Now that's not the end. We still need to use the hue and saturation. So I'm going to grab another hue and saturation, and this time around I want to fix the red. So let's see. Turn this off, turn this on and on, so nothing affected, just the correction. I'm going to turn this one on. Let's go back, and then I'm just going to pick the slider, and let's pick somewhere, just pick anywhere. We'll go to the red channel, and let's see, increase it up so we still have some blue and the rest of. So but don't worry about that. What we need to do is to increase the hue and get some yellow feel, and like that. And maybe let's increase the saturation a bit, +3, and there we go. So this will just give it a little bit, remove the red tint from the image, so you can see. All right, so next thing we need to do, we're still fixing the colors. So I fixed the exposure or the tint with this first one. Now I'm fixing the color with this yellow one. So now you can see that some places are less saturated, somewhere like this place compared to the rest side. So we're going to grab one more hue and saturation tool and go to filter, go to select color range. All right, so on this select color range, we're going to select the cheek. Let's select the cheek, hold down shift and select more of the cheek. Good. And now you're going to increase the fuzziness, and it's okay. So it's going to create a selection on the hue and saturation adjustment, and then you can increase the saturation, and then boom. So take a look at the before where it's less saturated, and after where it is now saturated. Okay, so let's go back in. So let me take it up so you can see the difference. Okay, so I'm just going to bring it backwards somewhere like 19, and we have before, which is, you see, and after. So this will get us started with where we want it to be. So if we turn off this one, you can see the red tint, and the red tint is gone, and then this gives it a little bit yellow tint. Okay, so we can remove it from all displays, but that doesn't mean. So one more thing I'm going to do, I'm going to grab the exposure, and for the exposure, sometimes I take it up if I want to create some deep dimension or depth, but this place is going to make the image darker. So let's do the opposite by brightening it up and bringing it up like this, somewhere like 1.11 is okay. Now I'm going to group all this from here to here, and so I'm just going to put this in a group too. So we have drag this inside the group, so we can turn this off and on. Okay, so we can turn this off and on. So these are two steps we need to do. Now the next thing is I want to make the eyes white, so I'm just going to use one layer for that. So solid color, I'm going to grab the solid color adjustment, click OK for that. Let me go back, and now turn it off, double click to bring up color picker, select that color range, and it's okay. Turn it back on. In fact, the mouse control I. All this you should know how to do fast. So I'm going to paint with black as our white as our foreground color, you can see. So now I'm going to paint on the eyes like this, and paint on these eyes like this, and sometimes we can also do for the teeth if you feel like. So let's do for the teeth like this. Alright, so now let's just leave it like that. And so what we're going to do, we're going to change the blend mode to divide. Now it's very bright, so you're going to zoom out, and you can see that it's not fitting the image. So open it up and then take it up till you find it pleasing. So this is pleasing to the eyes, and it's okay. So you can see before and then after, just makes the eyes whiter. Okay, so now I'm still going to decrease the saturation of the air. So let's go ahead and go to the yellows and decrease the saturation. So you can see I'm just going to decrease the saturation and invert the mask. Okay, so let's invert the mask, control I, select the mask, control I, and grab your brush tool, increase the brush size, and I'm going to paint on the hair. So there we go. Alright, so now we can go ahead and do our create a stem visible layer. Control Shift, holding down Control Shift alternate E to create a stem visible layer. And now we can go ahead with our frequency separation. So Control J twice. I'm just gonna pause this place. There are a lot of videos online that does frequency separation. You can look that up. And this is texture. Hit enter. I'm gonna turn this off. Select the color layer. Go to filter. Go to blur. Gaussian blur. And I'm going to blur it. This should be okay. 5.8. Let's take it up a little. 7.2 because the image is already not in high resolution. So I'm going to turn on the texture layer. Select the texture layer. Go to image. Apply image. And then I'm going to go under the layer. Choose the color. And this one subtract. And it's okay. Alright. So change the blend mode to linear light. And I'm going to group the two. This is our frequency separation. Let's open it up, grab the mixer tool brush, and I'll start blending. Let me select the color layer and start blending your image. So I'm just going to remove this air we have here and blend the skin, and also remove this air we have here and blend the skin. Okay, so I'm done with the frequency separation. It took me like 10 minutes, so I just don't want the video to go longer, so that's why I did it. So this is before, so I'm just gonna pinpoint what I did. So on this place I removed the hair and the face, and this side as well. So you can see the hair gone, and this side as well gone, and this side as well gone. So just the frequency separation, and then the blemishes are gone. Okay, so that's what I did. You can still go on and do the rest. So but let's create a stem visible layer and let's continue. So after that I'm going to do some dodging and burning. So quickly I'm going to bring this down. Let's bring it up. Yeah, so something like this, and then close it. Double click on it to open up the blending option, and I'm going to remove it from the darker side till I have it somewhere here. Let's take it up. So I'm going to hold down Alt, click and separate. I'm going to bring this back a little, so we have that. It's okay. So you have before, you just see some kind of, yeah, okay, so this should be fine. Before and after, just give it a little bit of depth. You can do the opposite for your black and dark side, so but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna quickly color grade. So open up the color balance, and let's start with the highlights, and I'm gonna introduce some blues, yeah, even in the mid-tones too. I'm gonna bring in some just blues, and let's give it some cyan. Go to the shadows, let's give it some blues, and yeah, so should we introduce cyan? Okay, just do what's what's right. So on the highlights, let's give some, we're just trying to get the real skin tone. So okay, so now we have this. Let's see before and after. So now it's looking perfect. Create a stem visible layer, and there we go. So I'm going to group everything up to this extent. Now we have our frequency separation, so I don't think we need to group that. So I'm going to group from here to here, and there we go. So let's see where we're coming from here to here, from here to here. So you can also go ahead, use the camera raw filter and spice things up. Open up the color, the basic. I'm just going to quickly use the contrast there instead of using. I'm going to bring up the highlight. So bring up the highlight, and the shadows, let's make it a little bit bright, and bring down the black. Yeah, so something like this. I'm gonna increase the texture, and that should be for that. For the color mixer, let's go to the hue, and I'm gonna leave the red. It's already saturated. Let's want to make it look like the orange, So I'm just gonna leave it like this. Let's leave the red and let's change the hue of the orange. Okay, so -1, -5 should do. And bring this one back. I'm gonna increase this one towards the side and towards the side. Go to the saturation, increase. Let's add something like that. Bring this up. So that should be okay. For the calibration, let's see sweet spot for the orange. So I would like to let's take it forward and take this thing backwards. Should be fine. And find the sweet spot for the green. Okay, so I'm looking at the image while I'm making adjustment. So we have this, not too much change, so we hit OK on the keyboard and we have our final image. So before and then after, before then after. So if you like the video, let me know in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. So quick recap, these are the steps you can take as a beginner to start your project. So before and then after. So thank you guys, see you in the next video.